Now we will discuss about the third renewable source of energy, that is hydro energy. As the word itself clears, hydro means water, means the energy that is produced by using water is should be hydro energy. But we know that whenever any object is moving or changing its position, it is having kinetic energy. So whenever we have a flowing water, if a water is flowing, then it must be having a kinetic energy. That kinetic energy can be utilized to various purposes. So that energy of the flowing water is known as the hydro energy. So we define it as, and it is a renewable source of energy. As we know that there is a plenty of water, so due to as and we know that it is exhaustible, means if it is exhausted then it can be replenished again. Due to all these reasons, it is considered as a renewable source of energy. Hydro energy can be used to grind crops, to irrigate fields, and to transport logs of wood from remote areas also. But we know that there are some hydroelectric power stations. So the energy that is trapped in the flowing water, that is the kinetic energy, that kinetic energy is used to generate the electricity, and it is not that in some areas it is done. It is done on a very large scale. Okay. So for this purpose, to utilize this and to produce electricity, dams are constructed and the water is stored in the dam, and whenever the water is stored in the dam, it has a potential energy. Whenever it is allowed to fall, then that potential energy of the water is converted to kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy is used to produce the electricity. This represents the water that is stored in the reservoir, and this water is having the potential energy because it is at rest. When this water is allowed to flow, so this kinetic energy, so in this part, the potential energy of water is converted to kinetic energy, and it is allowed to fall on this turbine. Due to this kinetic energy, this turbine starts to rotate, and it is transmitted to this generator by the device shaft, and this is generator. So when it is transmitted to generator, it produces the electricity. So as this process utilizes the kinetic energy of water, so it is termed as the hydroelectricity, and the place where it is produced, it is hydroelectric power station. But again, this source of energy has some advantages with it. Those are, first, as we know that it is a renewable source of energy, Being a renewable source of energy, it does not cause any pollution, and it is available, means a moving water is needed for this purpose, so it is available free of cost, means the source of this energy available to us free. And the construction of dams, means for this purpose we have to construct a dam. So the construction of dams also help in other purposes also, for example controlling of floods and in irrigation also. So constructing of dam solves the dual problem of any site. Again, similarly, it has disadvantages also. Foremost disadvantage is that moving or flowing water is not available all the time. Means, as in the case of solar energy, we said that during night time it creates many problems. So in this site also, it is not possible that at every place wherever we want to place this station, there should be flowing water. To have the efficient power supply, means if we want that it is a renewable, so we should think that it should be highly enough, means it should be efficient. But for its high efficiency, the water which we need should be available in large quantities, means moving water should be not in a limited quantity, it should have a vast quantity. And we said in advantages that dams are helpful as they solve the dual problem, but they are also disadvantages because constructing of dam disturbs the settlement, and they also disturbs the rivers. Due to disturbances in rivers, they lead to the ecological imbalance. So this was the hydroelectricity. Now we will be starting with the tidal energy. We know that in sea tides are formed. These tides can also be a source of energy to us. So we will be discussing in this topic that how these tides which are formed in sea can be a source. First we define the tidal energy as due to attraction of moon on sea water, there is rise or fall in the water which leads to the formation of waves. The waves which are formed due to this are termed as tidal waves. And the energy which is possessed, means whenever there is a formation of waves, it leads to the energy, means there is some storage of energy. That energy which is possessed by them or which is possessed by the falling and rising level of water is termed as the tidal energy. Now, we have defined the tidal energy. Rise of ocean water is called high tide, while the fall of ocean water is known as low tide. So these waves in the ocean build up twice a day, and between the high tide and low tide there is a large amount of water which can be used to produce a large amount of energy also. But there is a disadvantage that these energies can only be produced in the coastal areas itself. Means they cannot be produced in any region. There should be high enough formation of tides as the energy which is in between the high tide and low tide is utilized. So that energy should be high enough. So this was the brief knowledge about the tidal energy.